Did you know what the president did over the weekend while you schmuck were drinking and partying, you moron? The president has now given the United States military the power to detain U.S. citizens without trial. That means you. Let me repeat it. Over the weekend, he signed it in the middle of the weekend while you schmuck were thinking about what to have for New Year's Eve. Obama lied. He broke his promise on signing statements, and he attached the statement saying, although he has the power to arrest anyone at any time for any reason, he will not do it, and he will not detain you as an American citizen indefinitely. And do you know who helped Obama do this? None other than that shyster, Carl Levin, and that stupid old drunk, John McCain. Levin and McCain argued vociferously to give the United States military the right to deny any American any of their constitutional rights, and granted this president authoritarian powers that equal that of Kim Jong-il. I don't think you understand that this happened. Do you understand that not one of the schmucks in the mainstream media covered this issue? All of the loudmouth liars, from the biggest of them, Tom Friedman, one of the biggest frauds in the history of the American media, to that little weasel, Wolf Blitzer, not one of these fake liberals, not one of them covered this issue at all. Do you know what this law did? Do you know about this? Okay, I'll move on. We'll talk about nothing. We've gone from posse comitatus to posse Obamatitis. Right under your nose, we've gone from a law which said the U.S. military cannot operate within our borders against American citizens. That's the posse comitatus law. And now we've gone to posse Obamatitis, where the U.S. military is his own personal posse. He has the power to round up anybody he wants, an American citizen at that, and to detain them indefinitely without charges. Do you have any idea what this is? Now, he claims that there's an exemption for American citizens from the mandatory detention requirement, Section 1032, but it doesn't actually give any exemption to anybody. He can use any power he wants to arrest any one of us. So right now, if you're a civil libertarian, you fell asleep at the switch. We now live in an authoritarian dictatorship that occurred over the weekend. Obama rang in the new year. He signed the NDAA law, which gave him a provision to indefinitely detain citizens. And the reason that he got away with it is because the drunks in the U.S. military-industrial complex, using the stooges of Levin and McCain, gave the president these extraordinary powers in order to make certain that the pork in the military bill would be flowing as usual. Aside from the run-of-the-mill corruption, what has Obama done that's really been so bad? Well, for example, I've just given you an example, and I know you're not interested in this, because first of all, no one's working today. As you well know, it's yet another federal holiday, but of course, there are 365 federal holidays a year. The other days that they're actually working, they're actually just adding up what their EEOC and their pension benefits are. But today they don't even show up for work. They don't have to. Today they can stay home and do what they want. I decided that although almost all of the talk show hosts were not working today, I should work today because I still have a loyal audience that listens to me on the radio, on the local station that you're listening on, or on the Internet, where I'm a powerhouse, the second largest show in America on the Internet, if you can believe that, which is astonishing. That means a lot of the younger people are tuning into the Savage Nation on their phone apps, which is really a whole new world unto itself. I'm going to have to talk about it because the Mayan moment in radio has probably arrived at some point. I believe there's been a Mayan moment in certain industries, and many of us don't even know that the eclipse has occurred. If you'd like to talk about any of these topics, call up your ex-wife. Don't bother me. The phone number to your wife is 1-800-449-8255. Now, many of you are not calling right now because you're not even awake yet. However, if you'd like me to repeat some of what I just said, we will begin by playing some of the sound bites. Beowulf, you have them, don't you? Because I ran the sound last week as the drunk McCain and the shyster Levin were vociferously arguing to give Barack Obama the power of Kim Jong-il, and they succeeded in doing so. So let's listen to the shyster Levin and the drunk McCain as they scream to give the president the power of Kim Jong-il. Listen.
I think that as long as that individual no matter who they are, if they pose a threat to the security of the United States of America, should not be allowed to continue that threat. And I think that's the majority of the American public.
You filthy old... I was the stupidest people in the history of the Americans. Did McCain? That stupid old drunk said that as long as an American is a threat, they should have no constitutional rights. Now, let me ask you something. Tell me what a threat... You know, the Valley of the Dolls may have been... Maybe the Valley of the Dolls applied to him as well. Maybe some of his wife's pills wound up in his dresser drawer, because I can't believe this is coming from John McCain. But yes, I played it for you last week. Now we go to the other side of the aisle, where we have none other than the shyster, Levin, the slumlord Levin, well known for running slums that he makes a fortune on with his relatives, according to what I've read, with federal grants to make sure that the slums are filled with Section 8 inhabitants. Listen to the other one now, Levin arguing for Kim Jong-il-like powers. Listen.
The language which precluded the application of Section 1031 to American citizens was in the bill that we originally approved in the Armed Services Committee, and the administration asked us to remove the language which says that U.S. citizens and lawful residents would not be subject to this section.
Do you have any idea what the shyster just said? No, because he's a liar. He says things so you can't understand what he just said. But what the shyster, Carl Levin, just said is that there is no exemption for American citizens, and that's the way they want it. What the shyster said is they want to be able to arrest any of us if we pose a threat to the United States of America. So let me ask you something. What poses a threat to the United States of America? Well, obviously, if a man is planning to bomb something, that's a threat, I guess. That's, you know, without a trial, of course. You don't need a trial if you're a liberal. What's the point of having a lawyer now, or a judge, or a jury? All I got to do is say you are a threat to America's security. In the name of being a threat to America's security, the military will now arrest you and hold you indefinitely, and you'll have no trial whatsoever. We could even execute you. This happened over the weekend. If you don't understand how serious this is, you have no business being a free citizen. You are already a slave. You are no different than a bull with a ring in his nose. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care how virile you think you are. You are no more powerful than a bull with a ring in his nose. And the fact of the matter is, this has occurred. This is not a hypothetical. I don't care if you're a station owner. I don't care if you're a program director. I don't care if you run a whole division of radio. I don't care if you own an entire 1050 stations. You could be arrested. You could be arrested if you are deemed to be a threat to the security of the United States of America without any further definition. The NDAA was passed over the weekend. It is the single greatest assault on American liberty. I chose to come into work today to try and wake you up to the fact that nobody that I know of in the mainstream media covered this issue. The biggest liars like Wolf Blitzer, the biggest frauds like those on 60 Minutes, you name them, they're all complicit with the greatest assault on American liberty since this country was founded. What Obama has wrought while you slept and while he was eating poi, he rang in the new year by signing the greatest assault on American liberty since the country was founded, giving the U.S. military the power to detain U.S. citizens without trial. And many of you say, oh, come on, Mike, you're just being an alarmist. That would never apply to us. Never will it apply to any of us. You know who it's aimed at. It's aimed at guys like al-Awlaki and those other Muslim guys who come over here and sneak in and become American citizens and then plot to bring us down. That's why the good Senator Carl Levin and the great war hero John McCain pushed this so hard. They would never apply to us Americans. You know that, Mike. Because even the president said from Hawaii that he didn't intend to use authoritarian powers. He said even though he has the power to arrest you, detain you, even execute you, he won't do it. And you know you can trust Obama on his word. That you know. That you absolutely know. I mean, there's no question that everything he's ever said he would do, he's done. Everything said he wouldn't do, he has not done. The fact of the matter is, no one in the mainstream media has covered one of this, I would say, the single biggest tyrannical act of our life. It's interesting to me that, yeah, I write books, okay? That's what I do for a living. aside from doing radio, I write books because I believe that the written word and the spoken word are very important. I still do. So I do have a book coming out in April called Trickle-Down Tyranny. And, you know, it went to the publisher 3 weeks ago. Do you know that I now have to call the book back? I literally have to revise this 400-page book because the entire book has changed over the New Year's Eve weekend. The president conducted the greatest assault on American liberty and has conducted the greatest tyranny since this republic was founded. And you're not seeing it anywhere. For example, go to the Daily News. Here are the stories. 2011's wild and wackiest Twitter pics. Let's see. Romney, Obama is like Kim Kardashian. Kathy Griffin strips down to undies on national TV. Giants cruise to win over Dallas, headed to playoffs. Jets implode. This is what they feed the average moron in the streets of New York. Now you say, it's not going to fly. You're just blowing in hot air there. You know he means what it's all about. A guy like Lemon's never going to arrest you, never going to arrest an American. Why, it's aimed only at a terrorist, is it? Then why does it not say only aimed at a terrorist? Well, it does. It says if you pose a threat to America's security, the law says, you can be detained by a group of men in black clothing from the military who can grab you off the street like in Argentina in the 60s or 70s, throw you into a black car, take you to any jail, unknown jail, anywhere in the world now. They could take you to Pakistan, and you will have no trial and never be heard from again. It could happen to anyone running a blog that a lawyer, let's say a lawyer working for Obama says, you're a threat to national security. You write a blog. We deem that blog to be a threat. We don't like your website. It's definitely a terrorist threat. That's what we say, and they unleash the military on you like they unleash drones. So now you're going to have drones in suits coming to kill you in the middle of the night, coming to arrest you in the middle of the night. Am I being an alarmist? Is there anyone out there who actually knows what the heck I am talking about? Is there one psychopathic, lying, drug-addicted liberal out there who can prove that I am wrong in stating that the NDAA law that Obama passed over the weekend, supported by the shyster Levin and the drunk McCain, is not what I just said? Savage. So now Obama has the power to arrest any American citizen subject to indefinite detention. Even he can execute you without a trial. I know you say he'll never do it. It can't happen here. But strangely enough, civil libertarians have said nothing about this law, which he signed while on vacation in Hawaii with Mrs. Obama over the weekend. Honolulu, over the weekend, signed the defense bill, and tucked into the defense bill gives him the power to detain, interrogate, and prosecute anyone he calls to be a threat, anyone in his administration claims to be a threat to national security. But, of course, the fair-minded president, in the midst of a golf game, I suppose, or eating a pizza, a pineapple pizza, the worst invention in the history of the world, had the nerve to say that he has a signing bill that goes with it or whatever, which he criticized Bush over, a signing statement. And a signing statement went along with this fascistic bill, which allows presidents to raise constitutional objections to circumvent Congress's intent. And remember, during his campaign for the White House, President Obama criticized President Bush's use of signing statements, and Obama lied when he said he would make his application of the signing statement tool more transparent, but he didn't do so. So in other words, although it's supposed to be about handling captured terrorist suspects without violating Americans' constitutional rights, the law actually gives them the power to violate your constitutional rights for any reason that they want. Obama said in the signing statement, my administration will not authorize the indefinite military detention without trial of American citizens. He said, indeed, I believe that doing so would break with our most important traditions and values as a nation. But the law says you can do that. And as you well know, signing statements have no power whatsoever with regard to law. So why would he push for this assault on American liberty and then cover it up by saying he won't do it? Well, I'll let you figure it out. But what bothers me most about it is that it happened over the weekend.